So community and being tapped into a network is super important as an artist. Like, I can say that from my experience with certainty. And that's why I decided to join an MFA program, because you're kind of built in this kind of community, right? And you can find that there outside of academia. I didn't go to film school because I thought it was my only avenue and that I needed to do it. I didn't go because I thought I needed to do it. I went because I wanted to. Like, I knew the reasons I was doing it was because the community, the network, right? Just being tapped into a creative network. Because hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Diana Christine. I'm a writer and a filmmaker, and on YouTube and social media, I like to share my artist journey and document the lessons I learn along the way and share them with you in case it can help you if you're a creative woman like me, or you're a creative person and you're interested in self-development as well. This is the space for you. I'm really into self-growth because I believe that my self-development journey and my artist journey are one. So if you're interested in becoming your best self, this is the space for you. Let's support each other on this journey. In today's video, what I really wanted to talk about is what I learned in my first semester in my MFA film program. So I'm in a 2-year program right now, getting my master's in filmmaking, and I want to share with you a little bit about how that's gone for me. I wrapped up my first semester just last week, and I've been kind of learning so much about myself and about filmmaking and the creative process. Like, I've learned so much about it the past few months in film school, and I want to share with you like some of the biggest takeaways in case they can help you. Something I want to talk about is that I made a few short film projects this semester, which is really good. I've been making, I guess what I can go into is like my reasoning for going to film school, in case this is helpful for you and this is helpful context for you. So I was a film major in college. I graduated in 2024, and then I took a year off from school, and then I decided to go back to school to get my master's degree. And my reasoning for this was that it was going to help me develop skills that I needed, because I am coming through filmmaking. I've been in the filmmaking space for a few years now. Since 2019, that was in high school, I took a screenwriting class, and immediately it changed my life. And I knew that this was the direction I wanted to go in. Filmmaking and being a writer, writing, directing, that was the avenue I knew I wanted to go into since 2019. But I studied film in college as well, and I still think I'm not strongest in the technical side. I am coming at it through story, through writing, through intuition, right? That's my approach to filmmaking. So I needed more experience in the technical side and more knowledge, and I thought that being in a film program and then MFA film program would allow me to build more connections, have those mentors built in through my professors, be in a space that is with other creative people, like my classmates, who we all came to this program with different strengths, which was really cool to see. It's really cool to see the different tastes that my classmates have and the different skills that they bring and all the things that we teach each other, And I also was influenced to go to film school. Well, the MFA program. I knew I was gonna apply to the MFA program. To an MFA program when I was a senior in college. That was in 2024. I had already applied, but I decided to defer a year, and so I can have some time off from school. And what even more motivated me to go ahead and get an MFA was this book that I read called Real Artists Don't Starve. I forgot the name of the author, but if I find the name of the author, I'll put the book here or somewhere on the screen, when I'm editing, so it can help you, because it was a super insightful book for me. It was super, it was so insightful. was saying basically that one of the main things that book talked about was about collaboration as an artist and how important collaboration is, and don't underestimate it, because no artist works alone. There's no artist that works alone. And I can 100% say that from my own experience with certainty, because not only, especially with filmmaking is a super collaborative art form, but every art form is very collaborative. Like, you can be solitary, just like even if you're like a writer or someone who has a more solitary art form, like I'm a writer as well. Even then, you need community and you need collaboration in order to refine your piece, to edit it. You don't create in a vacuum. You create through like influences from your community. So community and being tapped into a network is super important as an artist. Like, I can say that from my experience with certainty. And like, that's why I decided to join an MFA program, because you're kind of built in this kind of community, right? And you can find that there outside of academia. I didn't go to film school because I thought it was my only avenue and that I needed to do it. I didn't go because I thought I needed to do it. I went because I wanted to. Like, I knew the reasons I was doing it was because the community, the network, right? Just being tapped into a creative network. Because another thing that the book Real Artists Don't Starve talked about, and that I resonated with, was that you don't create in a vacuum, but it's easier when you're in a scene. It's easier when you're tapped into a scene of creatives rather than trying to make it on your own. So the location you're at matters a lot. And artists who from even the past, like, you think, oh no, they didn't have no one, they worked alone. They didn't. They had like a community, because through community, I feel like energetically it's so interesting. It's like a melting pot of like different energies, and your work gets richer and way better and more interesting when you have different energies tapping into it. And then it becomes something way stronger that you could not have come up with on your own. Like, think about like even like singer songwriters, they have people refining and editing their songs, right? People like producing the music. One song does not get produced entirely on its own. It has like different energies into it. The singer, right? The songwriters, the person on the instruments, the producer, different types of it's just so interesting. And I love collaboration. I love talking with people and just conversing and hearing their perspective and learning something new. It's something that I never would have known on my own before. I really enjoy that. So that's a huge reason why I decided to do an MFA. And one thing that I learned, I want to talk about this. So what I took away from the first semester already is a few film projects under my belt. So I did make, so far as a filmmaker, I made several exercises, like little short film exercises when I was an undergrad in my film major. But then I ended up graduating with my thesis, which was a short documentary that I made that I didn't share anywhere publicly. I'm thinking about editing a trailer for it and posting it on YouTube. I don't want to share the whole film on YouTube because it ended up being like a really personal film. Like, it's just like, it's about me and my mom and our relationship, and it's super personal, and it's a good first attempt into personal storytelling and documentary filmmaking, but it's just a bit much to post the whole thing. So I think I do want to show you a trailer, so I might do that. But anyway, that's the first film that I made, like first like finished full film, and then I shared it in like my thesis showcase with other people in my undergrad program. And then I did a short narrative film. My first short narrative film was If She Didn't Get Turned Into a Vampire, which I posted on YouTube, which is really cool. You can watch it. I'll put the link down below. There's also a trailer for it. And I also did fun video promos with the cast. So I posted here on my YouTube channel, Would You Rather? The cast of If She Didn't Get Turned Into a Vampire plays Would You Rather? And it's like super fun. It's a super funny, entertaining video. So definitely check that out. And that's something. Okay, so I did that, and then I've made like obviously like YouTube videos and like other video projects, so I've done several like film, video projects, and then going into the MFA program, I after the first semester, I did I did two short documentaries, a short narrative film, and other short exercises like video for class. And I want to talk about like now I'm even more, made more film projects, and the next semester we'll make even more. And now I'm also in the process of writing my 15-minute thesis film for my program, which I'm super excited about. I do have the idea for it. I just have to flesh it out, and we have to write the first draft of it during winter break. So I'm in winter break right now, and my winter break ends like in, I think, early February, the end of January. We have a long break, but anyway. Yeah, so that's that. And I want to talk about this idea. So one of the things I learned this semester, which I think I knew already, but I saw it even more into action, is this. And it is that your work never goes to waste. Your ideas kind of get recycled. I find this with other filmmakers, fellow filmmakers, like who are my peers, that we recycle the same ideas, but just like in a different font. And that's okay. I personally think that's cute, and that's okay, because we all have our own stories that are important to us. There are things that are super meaningful to me that I'm gonna repeat over and over. And that, like, for example, a eldest daughter, woman protagonist who feels lonely. That's something that I feel like my stories are always about. Like in my films right now, my ideas always are like a woman protagonist, and she has a big decision and she feels lonely. There's always a big decision and a girl main character who is like an outcast almost, or feels like left out in a way, because that's what resonates with me, and that gets repeated. So I want to talk about the story of this narrative short film that I made in my MFA film program this fall, actually. And I made a cut of it already because we had to show it in class, but I have to work on it, and I want to post it on YouTube too, because I want to show you. Take one, action. I want to show a lot of my early work on YouTube. I think definitely with my thesis film, I'm going to send that to festivals, because that's like my, that's like official, and it's 15 minutes, and where it's longer. Whereas this project that I made this semester, my narrative short film, is like 5 minutes or less than that. It's very short, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I really loved it. I love the story. It's so important to me. And what's so interesting is that so it's called The Butterfly Girl, and I shot it in November. And my story, if we backtrack, if she didn't get turned into a vampire, is about this girl who is who feels left out, who's an outcast. And then this story, The Butterfly Girl, is the same thing. And if she didn't get turned into a vampire, my main character Valentina has a big choice to make. Like, does she become a vampire or not? And then in The Butterfly Girl, my main character, she has a choice to make, and she makes a choice. But she makes a very difficult choice. And and then in my next film idea for my thesis film, it's the same thing. Like, a girl has a big choice to make. So for some reason, that's what I keep coming back to, a girl and a big choice. But I love that, and I think it's cute. I love it, and it's so enjoyable to me. It's what I know, and the stories are very important to me. So in The Butterfly Girl, which I really love the title, by the way, I love how I came up with that. It just came to me, and I was like, yeah, that's perfect, beautiful, But basically, this idea for that story, we had to make a short film for class where you used minimal dialogue. So it had to be a very visual driven story, so that we can exercise the muscle of doing things visually. Because with film, it's obviously a visual media. So it's more interesting when it's visually driven rather than just having the characters say everything. And that it was very challenging, to find a story where it would require very minimal dialogue, and it can be a story that we mostly just see. And my idea automatically was like a pregnant woman. Like, I wanted a pregnant woman, and like a young pregnant woman, and but then it wasn't working, because my first drafts were like, were very like nothing happened. And there are films where nothing happens and that's fine, but it just didn't have it just didn't really make, I don't feel that it made sense, even like visually. It wasn't really there, you know, like it wasn't really final, like it didn't feel like proper, like a proper ending, you know. And then I kept like writing drafts and it was getting really difficult. And then I thought about this story that I wrote and that I shot when I was in undergrad, and it was a pregnant woman, like she gets an abortion. Let me show you a little bit of my project. It's kind of cute. Look, it's like I have to find a way to mute the sounds and do a voiceover, but look, they end up fighting. So yeah, that was like a sneak peek. It's so dramatic. These Barbie dolls, I had them fighting, and I was like, wait, I think that can be used. I can use that material from a really early project and recycle it, scrap it, and then use it for this project. So that's what I did. So I want to say, like, you don't always feel pressure to come up with something super original. Just try to recycle from your past work. Like, think like, was there something very early on that I was trying to do and was not successful with it, that now it can be used in this piece? Because sometimes we think of pieces of a story that don't make sense until the future when we have a different idea, and then we're like, wait, I can recycle this scrap from the past because it fits better with this story than in the past. So what happened was that I was like, okay, it's a pregnant teenager, and then she goes to get an abortion, and that can be something that is visual, like we don't see it. So I mean, in my film, we don't see her procedure or anything like that. We just imply it visually, and then it kind of starts out where she's at home, and then she goes out on this journey. She goes on the train. It was a really cool shoot. I will post some pictures on Instagram for sure. And it's just very cool. We had a really great behind the scenes photographer and videographer, and we got some really cool behind the scenes footage that I'm so excited to share with you. And I will definitely share it with you. Like for If She Didn't Get Turned Into a Vampire, my first film, I shared so much behind the scenes on my Instagram and on YouTube. Like I'll link stuff. I'll link previous videos down below where I was sharing footage like behind the scenes. But I will do the same thing for the Butterfly Girl, so definitely get excited for that. I'm really excited to share all the great behind the scenes pictures and footage that we got. But anyway, and why did I come up with this idea? So I am someone who now I'm going personal, right? Like I come from a lineage of young mothers. Like my ancestors, my maternal ancestors were young moms, and then I'm first generation American. I'm the first, woman in my lineage to graduate college, and now I'm getting a master's degree, and like it is something important to me that I think about what would happen if they didn't have to have kids or get married. Because I think about, I think this is something that a lot of women can relate to, about like, we wish our moms would have had, especially like now in our generation, like we wish maybe our moms would have been able to live their dream life instead of having to rely on a man financially, and like being pressured to have kids and to follow the norm and to follow tradition. Like, I think I've talked about this with friends and like people in my personal life, like what would it have been like if our mothers were able to live their dreams. And I think about this Rupi Kaur poem. Rupi Kaur is a poet that I resonate with a lot, and I resonate with a lot of her poetry. And one of her poems is something about how I saw my mom in my dream, I saw my mom with no kids and the love of her life. And that was the happiest I've ever seen her. And oh my God, like Rupi Kaur has a lot of other great poetry like that about her mother that I resonate with. And I made this film. It's the Butterfly Girl. For me, it's sort of the version of like, so in the film, the teenage girl, her name is Carla, played by a really great actress, Adri. who she like she's secretly pregnant, so it's not like she's secretly pregnant, and then at the end, through her signing forms, we realize that she's getting an abortion. Yeah, I'm spoiling the film for you guys. I'm just spoiling it for you because I'm, it's fine. It's fine. But because I want to tell you, the story. My nose is so itchy, by the way. I don't know why. Maybe I touched something I'm allergic to. I don't know. But anyway, that is like a version of like, what if our moms were able to get or got an abortion? You know what I mean? Like, what if like in an alternate life, your mom was a pregnant teenager and then she got an abortion? Like, that is in my head what the story kind of represents to me, and like it's so important to me. I think like it's just interesting, like I said, how similar the stories manifest for me, like how, and they're both eldest daughters, by the way. Valentina from If She Didn't Get Turned Into a Vampire, and Carla from The Butterfly Girl, they're canon eldest daughters. And basically I'm sharing all of this with you because I'm trying to show you like, yeah, this is how my inner mind works, but I hope that it shows you like they kind of don't be afraid to be personal with it, dig deep, and recycle ideas. Like, that's fine. I think it's really cool. It's super interesting. A lot of our favorite artists do that. I notice that a lot with the filmmakers that I like for example, just in small ways, like they recycle things in their world and they work, a lot of things in our creative ecosystem is so similar. Like, we have a lot of the same collaborators for each project, right? We have a lot of similar themes in our projects. Like, I think about Sofia Coppola, and I've been I've been more wanting to watch more of her films. I haven't watched all of them, but just like some of them. And I think about how this is like small, but she uses Kirsten Dunst a lot. Like, that actress, like she's in Marie Antoinette, The Virgin Suicides. She's even like has a cameo in The Bling Ring. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, she uses that actress a lot. Maybe more examples exist that I can't think of right now. But she also, like, it's very, very feminine. Like, it's very woman driven. Like, Sofia Coppola's work a lot of it is like very just like feminine. Like, that's what I can use to describe it. And I think that's so cool. But anyway, yeah, I'm rambling at this point. Another thing I want to say is that it's been really hard for me. Like, the MFA program is like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my entire life because of the financial part. Like, it's hard not being able to work full time, and I'm making less money, and like it's like so difficult. Like, making The Butterfly Girl, and like other film projects this semester was really hard because it's like, yeah, you pay for the program, but then you have to pay for your projects, and like my nose is so red. And then in someone who I don't have like, financial cushioning, and like it's really hard. So I don't know what the solution would be, but I'm trying to like work a little more. I have a coffee shop day job, so I'm a barista. So I'm trying to like pick up shifts during winter break, and I'm also trying to find other ways to make money, and bring in money. But with my skills, so I'm in that process, but it's very difficult, and I don't want to sugarcoat it, and I want to say that to normalize it. Like, if you're someone who you're like, oh, I don't know how I could be an artist or do it, because I understand, like, being an artist is so challenging. Like, I've had so many low moments this semester where like I didn't know if I could finish my film. I was not sure I could finish The Butterfly Girl. There were 2 shoot days, and I had to simplify a lot. Oh my god, my nose is so red. Okay, I'm back. I had to go blow my nose. But yeah, it's very, being an independent artist is like not for the weak. It's so difficult. So I want to validate you if like you're feeling like that, and I want to share like that truth, like I don't want to make it seem like it's all sunshine and rainbows to follow your passion, because it's not. And especially if you're starting out, you're independent, you don't have connections, you don't have money like me, and that's why I'm visible on social media, because it's like I want to show like even someone like me can still, it's still valid to share my voice, and I'm still worthy of showing up, you know. But I try to remember that this is only a season. Like, this is only a season. It's temporary, and I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot of skills. I'm making a lot of use out of this. Like, I'm really proud of the Butterfly Girl, and that narrative film that came out for me this fall in the MFA film program, because it would not have come out any other way. Like, I think being in art school, like, forces you to meet deadlines and to just like work quickly, right? Like, that was a huge thing for me, like working quickly, like just trying things out. And another thing I wanted to talk about was about simplifying things. Like, remember to simplify things. That's a huge thing I learned, especially this semester, and that I had to learn because I had no choice. I didn't. From day two, for the Butterfly Girl, we had a relatively big crew, you know, a big crew. We had 3 actors that we needed in the cast, or well, we really had like 8 actors that we needed in the cast, and then we had a slightly large crew, but it could have been more people. Like, it's easier to make a film when you have more hands, the more people, at least for me. Like, the more hands the better, because things go by faster. But what is so funny about like the film projects I've made in film school this semester, and like what I've seen with my classmates, is that we simplify things, and sometimes you have no choice but to work in every department, which is so interesting. Like, with the Butterfly Girl, I had no choice but to be the prop master, which is like gather all the props there. And it was like pretty much a prop heavy film, because we had an interior scene with the apartment, with the girl's apartment and her bedroom. We had to dress the set. There was religious iconography there. I had to get a cross. I had to get like different visuals to show that it was a religious household. And then I had to dress the set. I had to get like tablecloth, flowers, and they started, that's money, you know, that adds up. And then I had to get bed sheets. I had to get a pregnant belly. I ordered that from Amazon. Like different things, and I was able to return most things to Amazon at the end of the film shoot, which is clutch, you know. I made sure, I was like, guys, like, let's unwrap this really carefully. So I had a really great cast and crew. Like, the first day 1, we shot the film over 2 days. Day 1 went so smoothly. I'm so grateful. I had like it was just such a great team. I had like production assistants, a script supervisor, gaffer, I had my cinematographer, my DP, my sound person, you know, so many great people, like my assistant camera operator. And then for day 2, I had to simplify it a ton, because I was like, the day 1 was so big, like, and then I had to feed all those people, you know, snacks, food. It was unpaid, but then I had to make sure I shot it within a decent amount of hours. I think we shot from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is I was like, I'm going to try to make it as efficient as possible, so that since I'm not paying anyone, like, I don't want to keep these people for a long time, and I want to be efficient. And then what was I going to say? And then day 2, I couldn't afford to have more crew. Like, I had to, I like ran out of money. I like basically almost ran out of money. So I had to just have very bare minimum crew. Like, it was like me, my DP, my actress. That's it. And then I asked another person to step in. So then that was really stressful, but we got it done. And then I learned. So yeah, I mean, like I said, day 1, I had to organize everything. I couldn't get an assistant director or a producer to help me organize the logistics of the shoot, because it was so last minute. Like, it was happening really fast. Like, usually if I was doing an independent short film, like, I would have give myself more time. But since I was working with the constraints and the deadlines of the MFA film program, it pushed me to like scramble, reach out to a ton of people, tried to assemble a crew pretty quickly, and then I had to handle all the logistics, you know. I had to get all the food, I had to get all the props, I had to do the like pretty much do the production design, you know, like I was saying earlier. And there's definitely other things that I'm like forgetting right now that I had to do. But anyway, like that's why in day 2 it was very small crew, and I was trying to keep the shoot as simple as possible. And sometimes you're going to be in situations as an independent filmmaker, I think, like you're going to be in situations where you have to do everything yourself. I think this is also true for you if you're starting out with anything, like with the business, with an art endeavor. I think there's at least in the beginning, you're going to have to do a lot of things yourself, but it's good practice and it's good to learn and it's super interesting. Like for me, it was my first time doing all of that in that way, like doing so much with set design, which was so interesting with the Butterfly Girl. I think we did some set design for if she didn't get turned into a vampire, but it was not to the extent of the Butterfly Girl, because the Butterfly Girl was very much more specific, like with the religious iconography and the cultural iconography. Like just it was a bit more, it was more, you know, like I had to do more for that. Whereas like if she didn't get turned into a vampire was a party scene, so everything was pretty much dark, so there was not much to like we had some props and set design, but it was like that was not the focus. Like whereas with the Butterfly Girl, it was much more, that was the focus. It was visual. There was hardly any dialogue, so you had to show a lot just visually. Whereas if she didn't get turned into a vampire, had much more dialogue, and it was more focused on the characters and what they were saying. You know, so yeah, so it was just interesting tackling this different thing in this project, like just a different focus. And it's very normal to do everything yourself as an indie filmmaker, to do a lot of things, you know. And it's very stressful. It's super stressful, but, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make the story come alive, you know. My nose was, like, bleeding. Oh, my God. Okay, I think it got irritated because I just kept, like, scratching it. But anyway, yeah, that's I'm okay, by the way. I'm okay. It just got, my nose just got irritated, but I'm fine. But anyway, that's pretty much bringing us to the end of this video. I feel like this one was more all over the place and a bit more rambly, but it's hard to share everything in like a very clear-cut way because there's just so much, you know. This is a very, there's so much to say, so much to share about filmmaking and what I learned in my film program this semester. And I hope that was helpful and insightful and interesting in some way. Let's keep in touch. I also have a weekly newsletter where I post every Friday. I'll put the link down below. I also have my other social medias. I'll put them down below. And check out my film, If She Didn't Get Turned Into a Vampire. I will put the link down below. Check out the trailer. Check out the cast promo video. I'll put the links down below. But thank you so much for watching. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.